What's up, Taiwan? I'm Ethan Liu with 10 minutes of news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A Chinese invasion of Taiwan would fail if the U.S. and Japan work together to help fight back. That's according to a report by Nikkei Asia. The Japanese news outlet said the Sasakawa Peace Foundation held war games in January. The simulation showed a conflict over Taiwan could end in a little over 2 weeks. That's if the U.S. and Japan are able to cut Chinese supplies and take control of Taiwan's airspace. However, the think tank said all sides would suffer heavy casualties, including at least 13,000 killed or wounded Taiwanese soldiers and over 1,000 possible civilian deaths. The Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies held its own war games in January, which came to a similar conclusion of a Chinese defeat at a heavy cost. North Korea has carried out another round of missile tests. Pyongyang launched 4 cruise missiles on Thursday. The tests came as the United States and South Korea carried out joint tabletop strategic exercises that same day. The exercises simulated a nuclear weapon strike by North Korea. It was the 8th time the two sides have held these tabletop drills. South Korea says it is prepared for Pyongyang's nuclear threat. Friday marks a full year since Russia invaded Ukraine. Our reporter Rick Laward is in Lviv, where he reports on the significance of the past year.
This is all that's left of Bakhmut, a city once home to 80,000 people in eastern Ukraine. It's here that the longest battle of the Russian invasion is being fought. There are still residents hiding in the rubble of this city. 1 year into the war, Ukrainians here and across the country are still pushing back against their occupiers. In February last year, Russian President Vladimir Putin planned to take the capital, Kyiv, within 3 days. Ukraine was then looking to join the European Union and angling for a place in NATO. Red lines for the Russian president.
Но Россия не может чувствовать себя в безопасности, развиваться, существовать с постоянной угрозой, исходящей с территории современной Украины.
But Putin's forces are now bogged down in the country's east, and Ukraine's fight for freedom has become the world's battle. The international community has responded with humanitarian aid, sanctions on Russia, and weapons including heavy artillery and, most recently, tanks. Taiwan, a world leader in semiconductors, halted exports of sophisticated chips to Moscow and promised $50 million to help rebuild Ukraine. Leaders of the Western world have visited the besieged capital Kyiv and met with President Volodymyr Zelensky. Most recently, a surprise visit by US President Joe Biden.
Putin thought Ukraine was weak and the West was divided. As you know, Mr. President, I said to you in the beginning, he's counting on us not sticking together. He was counting on the inability to keep NATO united. He was counting on us not to be able to bring in others on the side of Ukraine. He thought he could outlast us. I don't think he's thinking that right now.
No matter who stands together with Kyiv, it is Ukraine's people that are suffering. The war has caused the greatest humanitarian crisis to hit Europe in decades. Putin's invasion has left 8,000 civilians dead and forced more than 8 million from their homes. A year in, and thousands of displaced people are still arriving in cities like Lviv, western Ukraine, fleeing the horrors of war in the east. Through those horrors, President Zelensky has filled the role of a strong and charismatic leader, ever championing his country's cause on the world stage and rallying his people. On the eve of the 1-year anniversary of the war, he remained steadfast.
Схід дуже важко, болісно, але робимо все, щоб вистояти. Південь. На частині напрямків ситуація доволі небезпечна, але нашим воїнам є чим і як відповідати окупанту.
Ukraine has surprised the world with its determination to defend its freedom with everything it's got. But Putin appears equally determined in his war of attrition. And if the battle rages for another year, how will any part of Ukraine remain unscathed? Rick Laward in Lviv, Ukraine, for TaiwanPlus.
Aside from Rick Lauer in Ukraine, TaiwanPlus reporter Leslie Liao is in Lithuania, where China imposed sanctions in 2021 after the country allowed Taiwan to open a representative office there with the word Taiwanese in its name. Since then, Taiwan has made efforts to help offset Lithuania's economic losses. Leslie spoke to Taiwan's representative to Lithuania to find out how Taipei is doing this.
It's the name that stirred up diplomatic trouble. Now, because China claims Taiwan as part of its territory, whenever Taiwan opens up a new representative office or de facto embassy abroad, it can't put the name Taiwan in it. Instead, it'll go for something like Taipei Economic Cultural Representative Office. But that's not the case here in Vilnius, Lithuania, where the words Taiwanese Representative Office are on full display.
Taiwan has never had a foreign mission with the word Taiwanese in it. The Lithuania office is the first of its kind, and as its head, Eric Huang is the first of his kind as well. China imposed economic sanctions on Lithuania for allowing the office to be set up. Huang understands there's pressure for Taiwan to make up for Lithuania's economic losses, but he says he's focused on providing quality over quantity.
We do not aim to replace China. We would like to offer a higher quality, better supply chain for Lithuania.
Huang says one way Taiwan is doing this is by sharing its cutting-edge technology with Lithuania. He says that Taiwan is comfortable sharing its know-how with Lithuania because of what the two countries hold in common.
If Lithuania does not share the same value of democracy and human rights, freedom, rule of law with Taiwan, we are not going to share with that.
Lithuanian officials, like Member of Parliament Arūnas Valinskas, seems pleased with Huang's efforts. He agrees the kind of partnership now blooming between Taiwan and Lithuania can only come from building trust.
And for Taiwan to say, we are willing to trust you, Lithuanians, to such an extent that we're not just going to invest money to, obviously countries and people do it to make a profit, but also we're going to start sharing some technology with you. That is a sign of trust that is not easy to come by.
Huang's office exists only because Lithuania was willing to take a risk and accept the likelihood of China's economic sanctions. Huang says he wants to show Lithuania that a fruitful and reliable relationship with Taiwan can help make up for that.
We are helping each other with the best we can, and this is truly amazing. And we hope that this cooperation can serve as a model for democracies to strengthen the economic resilience of each other.
Huang said he'd work to make sure the name doesn't change, because for him and many others, it's a testament to a strong partnership and an earnest friendship. Leon Lien and Leslie Liao in Vilnius, Lithuania for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's consumer market is growing strong as sales in the retail and food and beverage sectors hit new single-month highs in January. The Economics Ministry says retail sales last month totaled over $13 billion, or 4% up compared to the same period last year. Food and beverage sales jumped more than 30% to over $3 billion. The ministry says the increase was due to higher consumer spending before the Lunar New Year holidays. The return to normal life after COVID-19 restrictions were lifted also contributed to the growth. To encourage the use of public transport, Taiwan's government has announced new travel plans, including a monthly pass for residents costing around $40 and 5,000 NT dollar vouchers for tourists. The monthly transport pass, which is likely to be launched in June, will allow unlimited travel on public transport, including buses, trains, metro, and bicycle sharing services in Taipei, New Taipei, Taoyuan, and Keelung. Meanwhile, the central government also has fare subsidy plans for central and southern Taiwan, which still needs to be approved by the legislature. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Remember to download the TaiwanPlus app for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we leave you with images of paintings made by an AI-powered robot. I'm Ethan. Take care, and I'll see you next time.